webinar of 2021. My name is Chris Parker-Brads and I will be your host today. So this is the next in our series on driving local spend, and today we'll be hearing directly from one of our customers. Sharon Appleby, Head of Business Operations at Sunderland Bid, will be talking about their programme and how it's performed so far. There will be an opportunity for questions and answer session at the end, but please do feel free to answer any questions as we go. My colleague Colin Munro will be monitoring the chat box to ensure that we don't miss anything. This session is also being recorded and the accompanying case study will be forwarded on to you all after the event. However, before I hand over to Sharon, I'd be remiss if I did not quickly introduce ourselves and our flagship programme. At MyConnects, we believe in the power of local businesses. For over 10 years, that has been our focus. We understand that local businesses need solutions that are designed to accelerate growth, with success being measured in pounds and pence. As such, we've developed our gift card programme to ensure that places, both small and large, can enjoy the benefits of a local currency. With over 65 towns and cities in the UK alone, from Kirkwall to Canterbury, from Tavistock to York, our gift card solution is robust and proven. With over £2 million in sales in 2020 alone, we know that there is a desire right now to support the Shop Local initiative. We have built a programme that is achievable and free for local businesses to get involved with. By using the Mastercard network to power our solution, it gives businesses confidence that not only is the system simple, but they will receive timely payment in full with no additional administration. Having onboarded over 12,000 businesses, the process is also fully COVID secure. We know that administrator and officer time is a scarce commodity and that your focus needs to be on supporting your businesses. As such, we deal with the day-to-day sales and delivery of the gift cards to end users. This allows you to focus on the local marketing and awareness of the cards. It's perhaps best now, though, for me to hand over to Sharon to pick up the story.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, MyConnects, for inviting me to come and update on where on where we are with our story. So I'll just go kind of give you a little bit of background. We started talking to Colin in 2018, actually. I had just taken over at the bid at that point, and we were looking at a number of different initiatives. And to be fair, we thought it was a brilliant thing, but we just had other priorities that we had to think about, that we had to invest in. So we kind of parked it for a while, but continued to keep in touch with Colin on a fairly regular basis. And then at probably the beginning of 2020, we got back in touch and started to have more of the conversation around taking it probably a bit more seriously this time. That was prior to COVID, actually, and then as soon as COVID came along, it just seemed like it was going to be one of the things that really would help us as a city, not just as a bid, but would help us as a city to work with the businesses as we were kind of going through the year. Then what happened was the Reopening the High Street Safely Fund came along, and we started to talk to the council more about how we were going to spend that money and what access to the fund the bid would have. And we proposed that the gift card was one of the things that we would like to do from a citywide perspective, with some of the resource within that fund. So we were lucky enough to get that approved. And that is basically paying for all of the marketing. It doesn't pay for everything, but it pays for all of the marketing around the card. So we had worked with Colin on a programme that worked for us, that financially worked for us as well. And as I've said, this is a citywide programme for Sunderland, so not just a city centre based product, which is where the bid operate, but actually because the council are funding it for the first year, we are pushing it out into all of our neighbourhoods so that local high streets, businesses on local high streets, can also accept it as well. And that has worked really, really well for us. So kind of just brings you from 2018 to now. But I think the big thing for me was about timing. So it just in 2020, the timing was just right for us to pick it up there. And because of the success of our program, I think it was the right thing to do to launch it when we did. I'm just going to give you an example of some of the businesses that are on board. So you can see local businesses, national businesses on there. We have 120 businesses so far signed up. We didn't launch until basically the end of November. And so we had probably a 4-week run at getting people signed up. Then in the week before Christmas, clearly people are just focused on getting the sales through the door. So we used probably 4 weeks of where we really engaged with businesses right across the city to get them signed up. And you can see there is a nice range of businesses. And I think the beauty of this type of card over other kind of shopping centre cards or whatever is the fact that you can use it in so many places. So on there, we have restaurants, we have clothes shops, we have the nationals, we've got a groomers, pet groomers type of place. So there's a whole range of different places that you can use it. I think one of our queries at the time, or one of the things that was being said around gift cards, particularly by Martin Lewis, was that don't buy a gift card because if they go bust, then you basically lose it. But actually, the beauty of this type of card is that if you've got 120, 150, 200 businesses on board, it's highly unlikely that all of those places are going to close and the value is going to be lost. So I think that's one of the really big benefits for us, and also that we can use it in all sorts of retailers and venues as long as they take MasterCard. This is just a kind of an example again of the types of retailers that we've got. They all have a window sticker. They all have had their photograph taken with the dummy card. And we just push them out on a fairly regular basis to say such and such is signed up. Or, when you look at it like this, you can see the range of different types of businesses that are on board. And we will continue to push all of this kind of thing. And this is just one part of the marketing, I suppose, that we've done. All of the businesses have been sent all of the social assets as well. And to be fair, we do have more work to do with them on that. So lots of people signed up. And at the time, obviously, we're going straight into Christmas. We need to go back to them and work with them much more on how they can then promote that they also take the card. So it's fine for us to say that they take the card, but actually they need to get really engaged in that. So that's definitely a piece of work that we need to continue to do. We obviously had a consumer campaign which ran across social media, radio, digital screens we have right across our city and on the gateways into our city. So we used quite a lot of that, and we had some physical assets. We also did an animation, which I'll come on to just in a second. We would have loved to have had a video, but because of the timing and where we were and everything, it just wasn't feasible to get the right type of video done. So we used our guys that we have retained for video to do an animation. We also have got planned in that we will pick up another video when we can have real people in the images, when we can have the places looking like they've got people in them, and people enjoying spending their cards and things like that. But in the absence of being able to do that, we then went for an animation. Chris, you're going to have to keep me right here. So I think I press on video. Do I move the slide and then press on video?
Yeah, that's correct.
A night out dining. Embrace the gift of giving this year with our brand new gift card. With a Sunderland Gift Card, you can treat your friends, family or colleagues to a day out shopping, a night out dining, an afternoon of playing or a weekend of staying and hours of enjoyment. One card with so many options. Gift cards are available from £5 to £500 and valid for 12 months. It's never been easier or safer to treat that hard to buy for person a gift of their own choosing. Buy your gift card online today at www.sunderlandgiftcard.com.
So obviously in the absence of the video, that's what we came up with. But as I say, we will move to video as soon as we can. We also have developed other campaigns, basically moving through the year around the days of the year, the events, that kind of thing. So you'll see on there, we've got a Valentine's Day one, then there's the Mother's Day one, and then an Easter campaign with more to follow, but that's what we've created so far. We also have number of places within the city that we are promoting it just with more generic marketing, and we will continue to update those through the year, but they're basically all across the city centre and in some locations across the whole of the city, just to remind people that this is an option and it is there. It has the European logo on it because it is funded through the Opening the High Street Safely Fund, so we have to promote all of that. So they're the other types of physical assets that we have. And I'm just going to go on now to show you what the impact really has been from, if you bear in mind, this is probably a 4 to 6 week window period that we've operated from. And I think if you put the, if you multiplied the effect up, it would be very impressive. So I'll show you the impact now. So 120 businesses signed up so far, £26,441 sold in that period. But we have a massive order from another organisation, from Ocado, and their sales only show when they draw down the cards. So that is a much higher figure in reality, probably over £40,000 for that period. Because we went back into lockdown straight after Christmas, we haven't had the opportunity for people to spend the cards as much as we'd hoped, because clearly we thought that people would still be open and people would spend them January, February, which is what all of the evidence suggests. But unfortunately, people haven't been able to do that. But so far, we've had £7,465 out of that 26,000 spent. And there's obviously still quite a lot to go, which is great. I'm not going to go through the PR and everything. This is the type of report that I do to our board and stakeholders so they can see the return on the investment. But I think what's really interesting in terms of the top 10 businesses where the cards have been spent, probably no surprise, somewhere like Primark, Top, then Greggs. We have 22 Greggs in Sunderland, and I know that because I had to visit every single one of them on a Sunday and onboard them. But there's been £1,800 spent within Greggs over that period of time. Greggs are obviously a big levy payer of the bid, so that's really important for us. Then Marks and Spencers, then Lush, then Boots, and then the bottom 5 are all independent businesses, basically. So for me, that's a really good split. So you can see the balance between national and local. Independent, I think is probably a better word to say there. And I think that is really key, bearing in mind there's still a lot of money to be spent and a lot more businesses signed up. I like the fact that it's not all just skewed to one particular sector, and that's clearly without the restaurants and hospitality kind of sector being open as well. So overall, we were 19th in the sort of league table of the town and city gift cards, and bearing in mind that was a 4 to 6 week program, I was quite pleased with that. And I think, as I say, if you multiplied the effect of this up over the year, that would be really impressive in terms of the amount of money that we're able to lock into the local economy. Our board were really delighted with this, and we've been really fortunate and had some great PR. So we've been on local TV, local radio, all of that kind of stuff, and then your normal types of press that we've had, but also we have continued to run our marketing campaign as well. So that's up to date. And then what we're looking to do next is really looking to the future, looking to put potentially 1 or 2 physical points in, looking at potentially the Winter Gardens. So that's a council run venue, has a museum, Winter Gardens Cafe, all of that kind of thing in, quite a lot of footfall in there, somewhere I would trust to have the cards and be able to fulfill it properly. So looking at that, looking at the National Glass Centre, another great venue, but a little bit further out of the city centre. So looking at that kind of stuff. So we're talking to Mike and X around that. Also looking at having joining Collection Pot, which, if you don't know, I think sounds like a fantastic idea. Kind of does away with the brown envelope being passed around the office, which clearly those days are gone, but actually still encourages people to put into a collection for a gift or a leaving present or retirement, that kind of thing. And then they can have a town and city gift card, obviously Sunderland in our case, and that card would then automatically be sent to them. People can put their message on there, they can put however much they want in the pot. And I think that's a great way of actually encouraging corporates to get more involved in it. So that's what we're looking at. We're absolutely not looking to stand still. We will. Engagement's quite tough at the moment, I think we're finding, with businesses. Some of them have just completely switched off in this lockdown, which has changed, actually, in my view, from the previous lockdowns. And we are struggling with getting more engagement, but we will pick that up as soon as we feel the time is right, and we will encourage more businesses to get on board. We use my team, and I commissioned somebody to help us to work on that, to make sure that we were getting right across the city to convince businesses to get on board. And to be fair, it is a no-brainer when they've got the time to speak to you about it, and they take MasterCard. It just feels like something that they are really interested in. And one of the big things we've learned from Sunderland is sometimes people feel the city centre get everything, but actually, because we've been able to go out and into the neighbourhoods, some of the local independent businesses, who are amazing, because some of the better businesses are actually outside of the city centre, have really valued the fact that they are being invited into something and to take part in something that they see will benefit the whole city as well. And I think we've had we've had some really good take up on that as well. And people have been spending not just in the city centre, they have been spending on their local high streets as well. So that's the end of my slides. I have kind of started to look at the questions there as I'm going, as I've been speaking. But I don't know where they start, Colin, to be honest.
Great. So one of the questions that we had from Kelly, first of all, was how long from the idea stage to now has this taken? So this comes in, I think, two sides of sort of, and I'll let Sharon answer her part in a section, but in terms to get a program up and running, sort of we take on average 6 to 8 weeks, because obviously there is a certain amount of lead time in order to get the MasterCards physically printed, because of the extra security that has to go into them. However, I'll now pass over to Sharon so that she can answer much more directly about in terms of the bids aspect.
So this took a lot longer, actually, than I would have hoped, because of the procurement process that we had to go through. Because the council were procuring it, we had to put it out to full tender. So between Colin and I and one of the ladies at the council, we worked really hard to get it turned around as quickly as we could. But probably from us having the contract signed off to going live, it was just a few weeks, Colin. I know that we've just said 6 to 8 weeks for the cards to be printed. We'd done a little bit of work in the background, getting designs and everything ready, so that we were literally ready to go the minute the contract was signed on things. And I think the contract was probably signed at the end of October, mid-October, and we actually started to go live, I think, on the 16th of November. So it can be done. I would give myself more time, I have to say. If I could do it again, I would give myself more time, but it can be done very quickly if you've got everything lined up in the background.
Absolutely. And we were hearing from another one of our customers early on today who was mentioning that from that aspect, that I'm sure you'd agree, Sharon, that time is of the essence with these projects, and like with everything, it always ends up taking slightly longer, and you're wishing for more time once you've done it. And would you agree with that, Sharon?
I would agree with that, but I wouldn't let that put anybody off. I would, say that this is a fantastic product, and you should go for it regardless of how short you think your window is or how long it is. There are clearly things that you have to do, and trying to get the businesses on board does take some time. And there is some visiting to be done. Things can be done online and over the phone, but we did find that visiting the businesses actually got the best result in terms of getting them to sign up and to be onboarded with us. But for us, we did it very quickly, and it has worked very well.
Great. So Jason Maxwell asks, have you had any issues from levy payers that the card can be used outside of the bid area?
No, because we've been very clear that the council are paying for it. So we haven't, and the council will continue to pay the fees for the areas outside of the city centre as we move forwards. The bid will pay for the ongoing fees within the city centre, and the council will pay for the outside of the area. So no, we haven't, but we have been very clear about that, Jason, that it's not something the bid are doing just on a whim, that the reason it is like that is because the council are funding it.
Great. It sounds as if your relationship with the council is really positive, Sharon. It's sort of like there's a fantastic collaboration that's going on between you.
It is a really strong relationship, and you know, and one that benefits both sides, actually, because they can't work as quickly as we can. They wouldn't have got as many people signed up if they'd had to do it themselves, that kind of thing. So they really value the fact that we can move at pace, and that we always do. So you know, there's a number of things we work on, but this has been a really good collaboration where there's some very, very tangible benefits with cash attached to it, which often you don't find. You know, you can really measure the impact of this on the revenue and locking the money into the businesses, which is what the businesses really want to see. So, you know, this is definitely benefiting the bid and definitely benefiting the council from a reputation point of view as well. But yeah, we have a really strong relationship with our council.
Fantastic. So Helen Donnelly asks, what budget have you set aside for the marketing of the card?
So up until June, we will have spent about £30,000 from the end of November to the end of June, because that's when the fund runs out. I've just put an additional budget in for next year of around £20,000, which we will spread across a range of different things. And we also retain quite a lot of advertising space. So we don't pay for things like the bins, the flag poles, the totems, all of that. The council pay for all of that anyway. So again, we will split the costs moving forward. But I think I put another £20,000 in for the next 12 months from June, to really continue with the promotion of the card.
Fantastic. Jason, you have a question regarding nighttime economy. I'll come back to you separately on that, because obviously at the moment sort of like things have been locked down, but we do have some new developments coming from that side. So we'll pick up with you separately on that one. But
Chris, can I just add on that? Nighttime economy are really keen to get involved. So we have a number of people signed up to take the cards, but obviously they're just not open. And so they haven't had their pictures taken and all of that kind of stuff yet. So we haven't really started to push that, but they are definitely very interested in being part of the scheme.
Fantastic. Paulina asks, sort of like, can the card be used online? So yes, it's the simple answer for that one. The card can be used online. There's a little bit more which we have to do onboarding with the businesses, just to make sure that the requisite sort of like websites are fully connected, to make sure it's nice and easy. But yeah, that's absolutely sort of like possible. Craig asks, if the money on the gift card is not spent, what happens to it? So this money is retained. There's 12 months. It's advertised everywhere by ourselves, and we use that to power the customer success program, and to also make sure that we retain that sort of like, that we actually help businesses get involved far more easily. As I'm sure you can appreciate, the costs for this sort of like, you know, can be quite substantial. And so Kelly asked, test LFD frequently get a £5 gift voucher.
So we haven't got that in place, Kelly, but actually that is a really good point. What the council did do was they bought £10 vouchers to go in all of the food bank parcels at Christmas, which actually went down very well. And the council are starting to use them for rewards as well for their staff and things like that. But I haven't looked at anything around testing yet, but actually that's a really good call, and our CCG I think would be very keen for us to do something like that, so I will pick that up. So thank you for that. So just to clarify from that side as well, there are ongoing conversations, sort of like we have had approaches of looking sort of like of different uses, because obviously this is a local currency, and sort of like, you know, from that side people want the money locked into the local area rather than seeping outwards, sort of like, because they know that sort of like, you know, it's very valuable. And I think I missed just one question there, sort of like, do you have a website? This is from Anne-Marie. Do you have a website for the card to link to other online websites to spend money on the card? I'm not sure if I understand the question, to be fair, but there is a website. So there is a sunderlandgiftcard.com website, and on that website that will show you who is a physical retailer, I suppose, and then it will show you if it's a link to a website. So we have some that are physical retailers and have a website, and both take them. We have some just websites that take them. But on the Sunderland Gift Card website, that you can see that. I'm not sure if that's what you mean. The other, you said you mean the brands involved in the card. So on the Sunderland Gift Card website, you would be able to see the brands where it can be redeemed online. It's not everywhere. The nationals you can't redeem your Sunderland Gift Card in Marks and Spencer's at the moment, for example, but you can with more of the local independent businesses. I think the other thing that we're doing is we have introduced Shop Happy, and we are in discussions, and Colin is working with Shop Happy as well around being able to use the gift card in the businesses that are actually registered on Shop Happy. Which I think is a really good development as well, because it just gives another route for the businesses to be able to say they take it, and for the consumer to be able to spend the money.
And certainly in terms of collaboration with Shop Happy, they are people that we talk to regularly, and from that side, are looking at future developments. Just going back briefly to Sharon, so as standard, one of the routes to sales of the gift card online is everyone would receive their own website page within the Town and City gift card platform. And on that, it will list out every single business that is registered to take part. And Kelly's question: can charities sign up so people can donate? So this is not a standard use, Kelly, and I will come back to you directly onto it, because I'd need to go away and check, from that side. I'm advised by Colin that collection pots, which we mentioned earlier, can be used to the charity side. No, don't apologise at all, Kelly. Lisa, do you have an app for Sunderland? And if so, do you link the gift card off with it?
Not yet, but we just launched an app in November, but it was more around trails, a Halloween trail, or October, November, a Halloween trail and a Christmas trail. But we are actually working on how we develop that app now, and whether we can put offers and the gift card and all of that kind of thing on there. So we haven't developed it at the moment, but it's definitely something we're looking at.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, well, I would just like to ask one last question of Sharon, and thank you very much for your time, Sharon. But my question is, if you had one piece of advice that you'd like to give the collected people here present regarding the gift card program, what would it be?
Go for it. Absolutely. It's for me, it just seems like a no-brainer. Give yourself some time, but go for it. Absolutely. The businesses love it, the council love it, and it just makes sense for the bid.
I've just had a last-minute question in from Craig, around the approach taken for getting the bigger brands on board. So we already have relationships with over 300 national brands, and it varies very much whether it's a local decision or whether it's a local decision or whether it's going up to head office. Certainly from that side, I would say that over 99% of the larger brands that we've already spoken to have absolutely no problem with it. And I think as Sharon said early on regarding Greggs and Sunderland, there is a lot of businesses that essentially is accepting an extra debit card for no cost. So from that side, I'd just like to thank Sharon for her time, and it's really been appreciated, and I hope that everyone here has found it useful from that side. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out directly to myself or to Colin. And from that side, I will put in my contact details into the screen. Alternatively, if you'd like to book some time to have a quick 15-minute chat with myself once I end the program, once I end the webinar, you'll be taken to a screen where you can book in. Thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your time today. Bye-bye.
Bye.